push the button. No, have pushed the
You
button.
pushed it.
Ready?
See
The
right
button
there.
is pushed.
Pushed.
Yeah.
Fingers right on it.
Boom.
We're here at Jazz Live San Diego with JP Balmat and Drew Miller of Euphoria Brass Band. Welcome back to Jazz Live San Diego.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Vince.
well,
And happy Mardi Gras, Vince.
Yeah.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy
Fat
Mardi
Tuesday.
Gras to you too. Fat Tuesday. We're going to ask you a little bit about that because I hear you're the expert on Fat Tuesday, Drew.
Maybe.
But exciting evening here at Jazz 88, a special Jazz Live on Fat Tuesday. It doesn't happen that often, and you guys are the band to be here. Tell us who's in Euphoria Brass Band.
JP, roll it out, baby.
Oh, well, we've got the wonderful Drew Miller on bass drum. We've
Hello.
got Ron Boshin on snare. David Jackson on tenor sax. Steve Edner on trumpet. Myself on multiple reeds. We've got William Driscoll, Bill Driscoll, the Anomaly on
The Anomaly,
Yeah.
Ooh.
We'll go into that later. On guitar and trombone, the wonderful, the amazing Sue Palmer on piano. Tuba Wayne Rice on the sousaphone. Who am I? Oh, Leonard Patton. You can't forget
Leonard Patton.
the man, the voice,
Yes.
Mr. Leonard Patton. He's joining us tonight as well.
Wow,
Absolutely.
you guys must have had a big, huge bus to get all those people down here.
Pretty
We
much.
did. We've been
tonight.
partying all day
I
since we
stole one
woke
of the
up.
school buses from my school, yeah.
So for a band like Euphoria Brass Band, what does Fat Tuesday look like then? Is there a party that starts early morning? Tell us about that.
It's so warm, you know. I've swam twice, I've surfed once, and I've scuba dove, or is that dove in once today? That's once.
Wow.
How about JP?
I worked.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
No.
I expanded minds in general. We did a second line at the school
Oh,
though
good.
today, which
So
was
there we
a
have it.
lot of fun. Yeah,
Fat
we tried to
Tuesday.
talk about the culture of New Orleans and what it means, and yeah, at lunch we have a tradition of rolling out the band and doing an authentic second line with the school and throwing beads out, and most kids have no idea what we're doing, but you know, little doses.
Gotta share it.
We'll educate them.
Educate them, definitely. Well, let's educate all of us. Drew, tell us what's the tradition behind Fat Tuesday.
Well, it dates way, way, way back in New Orleans. A lot of the elite started these parades on Mardi Gras Day. Different crews, Krewe, crew, formed Rex. There's a whole gamut of different crews. Orpheus, Bacchus. African American crew would be Zulu. And it's tradition to roll out on Mardi Gras Day and parade in the streets and have all your family and friends out there on the sidelines catching those beads, the prized and coveted Zulu coconut. Everybody wants to catch a Zulu coconut. And I might say I did catch one back in 2010. So
Really?
I'm very proud of that. Very
Excellent.
proud of that.
Well, so great. So then, Euphoria Brass Band is in kind of that New Orleans style tradition. Tell us a little bit about the band and how you guys got together.
Oh, we formed 5 years?
5 years
ago,
Yeah.
and it was really kind of an inspiration between Drew, Ron, and our old guitar player, Dave Vandrowski. Ron and Dave were living in New Orleans for a long time. They came here after Hurricane Katrina. Met up with Drew, heard he had a second line show, New Orleans show, and it was kind of their idea to come together and form a brass band. And so Drew kind of reached out to different horn players in town, and geez, the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
It's still pretty much the original group from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you guys have had quite a bit of success, actually, in that 5 years. I was just reading 4 San Diego Music Award nominations over that time period.
That sounds about right.
And 3...
We've yet to win, but
Yes.
Hey!
We're just happy to be
Hey,
nominated,
that's
everyone.
right. That's
You
what
can't
we say.
win unless you're nominated.
Exactly.
There you go.
And there's always another year. Next
Absolutely.
year is another year. 3 CD releases also, including, I think it was last year, Ebb and Flow, your third release.
Yes.
So how have you guys seen things change for you and this kind of traditional New Orleans style music scene in San Diego? Have people been open to hearing your kind of music here and even more open as the years have gone by?
I would say so. Even from the get-go, it seemed that we were unique here in that we could be mobile and actually play our instruments while we were walking or skipping down the street. And that was certainly well embraced by young and old alike, really. And that was the beauty of this thing, and it still is to this day, that we'll find grandparents all the way down to little kids and everybody in between, teens and folks, you know, in their 20s and 30s embracing this stuff. And when we do particular gigs, we'll kind of cater to the aged, and you know, if it's a nightclub gig, we're going to play funkier, more contemporary, hard edge stuff. And if it's you know, something like a festival, well, perhaps we'll do a mix of traditional jazz and some of the newer, funkier stuff. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed. I think at the beginning we were just we're trying to find out what kind of musicians we were, what kind of band we were trying to form. So we were playing a lot of the traditional brass band literature from like Rebirth Brass Band and Dirty Dozen. I mean, we were just digging in as much as we could. And then over the years, I know I've been writing a lot of original material, started arranging a lot more, just because I knew what all the musicians were capable of doing. So now the sound is really formatted to each individual player, and pulling from each of those musicians' backgrounds. So, I mean, we have West Coast and bebop and Latin jazz, like all these different things we try to bring to the table and create something that's unique to what we do.
Mm-hmm. And has this style changed also? Have you guys seen, not just here, but elsewhere, this kind of style of music change? I see folks like Trombone Shorty and his super something funk thing, and bringing super rock funk, bringing that kind of in here. Do you guys kind of look at that and go, hey, we could do some of that too, or you know, you guys see that as an influence on you?
I think we bring, when we have the guitar, which we have lately, in the last 6 months, we've had a little more with the guitar going. We've seemed to get a little harder edge going, and there's some evenings where it's almost on a punk rock vibe, and the intensity of the music, I guess you might say, maybe. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely keeping a finger on the pulse and checking out all that stuff going on, and some of it we like, some of it we may not, and we just want to make sure that, thanks to this guy, that we're being true to what we, you know, hope to be anyway, and it's morphing.
It's great just to see the culture. I mean, it's growing all over the place. I mean, we opened up for a Trombone Shorty, and I mean, just packed house. He was there for like 2 nights.
Yeah.
And just packed, sold out show. And so you've got these guys that are coming from New Orleans and have played traditional jazz, have played in the brass bands, and now they're starting to morph and create their own style and becoming really popular in what they do and reaching more of the mass public.
Right.
So I think that's every musician's goal, is to be true to who you are as an artist, but also be heard and try to reach more people without losing touch of who you are as a musician.
Exactly. And then being here in San Diego, I know that you guys have also played across the border in Mexico. What kind of reception does this music get? It seems to me that it would be somewhat related to some of the things that we kind of maybe typically or stereotypically think of as brass bands in Mexico, mariachi or other kind of music. Yeah. So have you guys? Do you guys see that kind of thing when you guys play south of the border? What's your experience been playing?
It's been
south
wonderful.
Of the border?
I got to say, we're just blown away at the love that we get. We're treated like we're rock stars down there. You know, it's real interesting that. God, we get pictures and signatures and you know, autographs, and we sell a ton of CDs, and we get, you know, it's just that well, speak a little bit on what you think makes that happen there as opposed to here. I mean, there is a beauty about the sousaphone in both cultures, the New Orleans culture and banda and Mexican music.
I don't know. I mean, every time that I play down there, the people are just so warm, they're so welcoming, there's no expectation. And I think that's the greatest thing for me. We go out there and we play, and people just, they feel the music. It's feel good music, and I think, you know, music is that universal language. So the language barrier of English and Spanish really has nothing to do with what we're playing. But yeah, just culturally speaking and artistically, I love playing Mexico. Same thing Drew was saying. It's always a positive experience. I feel like we reach a lot of people. All ages, because that's the great thing about these events. We played the Tijuana Jazz and Blues Festival. And I mean, there's teenagers out there, like 200 teenagers, and then you've got these older grandmas and grandpas out there sitting down at the table. Everyone's dancing, everyone is having a good time. It's just a really positive place to play.
It seems that the music really is a part of happiness down there. It's not something you have to go buy. It seems that it's part of the culture. Food and music seem to run real deep, and that they can appreciate it a little easier and different than we do here. I don't know.
Excellent. Well, Drew, you're also the host of Second Line Parade, a show here on San Diego's Jazz 88.3, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Tell us about how you've seen your show kind of evolve and the music that you're playing on that change. Do you have more music, or are there other kind of subgenres that you're able to kind of get into now that you've been playing that for a while?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to morph every few months. Where what it really comes down to is what I'm listening to currently, and it may be more funk, or it may be older R&B stuff like Lee Dorsey and Chris Kenner and some of those things. And I try to give a smattering of all that stuff in each show, but you will find maybe a little more of brass band for a couple months where I'm just like listening to a lot of that.
Right.
So a lot of it is comes down to what I'm listening to that week in the car, and I'm making mental notes or actually writing stuff down. Okay, I'm going to pull that, I'm going to pull that, I'm going to bring that. I haven't been buying as much music as I used to, because I used to go to New Orleans quite a bit more than I am now, and I would always bring back $400 or $500 worth of music when I was down there, but yet I'm still definitely keeping tabs on what's going on, what new releases are coming out, and I'll just buy stuff digitally and burn a copy and then play stuff.
Any previews of upcoming shows, particular music you're going to be playing? I know you're kind of very fluid week to week, but any kind of special things that people could be listening to if they tuned into your show?
That's a good question. No, I have.
On the spot now.
Yeah, I know. Boy, that makes me think I better, after this show tonight at theater, I better get home and start doing some listening.
Start prepping.
It's coming up here.
That's all right. Well, we can move on from that, and we really encourage people to listen to that show on Saturdays. JP, you're also an instructor at Mission Bay High School, and the kind of the leader of the Preservationists, a band that plays somewhat similar type of music to maybe what you're hearing there. What are the difference between what the Preservationists do and what Euphoria Brass Band does?
Well, the Preservationists, it's more of a traditional jazz band, so early jazz out of New Orleans, 1910, 1920. We're kind of paying, it's a tribute to the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, which was, Preservation Hall was this resurgence in traditional jazz in New Orleans around 1970? 60 yeah. by the Jaffies in New Orleans. And they're really taking off now, too. I mean, they're playing all over the world. They're touring with all these different musicians now, and that's so great to see. But, yeah, it's just a little bit earlier of a music. I think the music that we play in Euphoria is more contemporary, being like 1970s, 80s, 90s, and then original material. Mm-hmm. So I try to get the kids to see really the beginnings of jazz, so they can see where it all started, so they can kind of go whatever route they would like. And I have a lot of my musicians, they're playing in Gilbert Cassiano's Young Lions series. And he's got a wonderful program at Grossmont, the Jazz Academy. And the International Academy of Jazz, and they just got accepted to the Monterey Jazz Festival, to the youth one, the Next Gen Festival. And they're going to go up there in April, the week before I take my group to New Orleans. So we're going to go back for, I think it's the third year now, to go there and study and play with some pros. We're working with Leroy Jones, amazing trumpet player, played at Preservation Hall. Also, he's in Harry Connick Jr.'s big band. And then Tim Laughlin, amazing clarinet player. But we've got a set of Preservation Hall set up. We're going to be playing on WWOZ and just anywhere we can, really inspire these kids. And
I noticed that you guys are right in the middle of a fundraising for that very trip, as is IAJ San Diego for their trip too. So it seems like very good opportunities for people who want to support jazz and the next generation of jazz to do that.
Yeah, both groups can be found on Facebook. MissionBayMusic.com is our website, and that's got directions to how you can support that group.
Excellent. Well, as we wrap up, what is the future for Euphoria Brass Band? Are you guys looking to do some other different things? Do you guys have recording projects in the future? What's coming up next?
World tour.
World tour.
World domination.
World domination. I was going to go there, but
we got a live disc that we recorded 6-7 months ago that Wayne's given a thumbs up now. So
wow, that's good.
I think this may see the light of day, which we recorded at $7,000 over 3 different months, a night each month. get this baby in the can. And we've been busy with so much stuff. It's kind of been sitting there, you know. And so now we got to take the time to go through it and cull it and make sure that we're happy with what's there, and hopefully get that out. And maybe he keeps writing up a storm with great new tunes. So we'll hopefully get in the studio again.
I hope
in the
so.
near future.
That's what my summer's offer for.
Yeah.
A
West
lot of
Coast
writing.
tour perhaps is another thing
Yeah.
we're looking at doing, which would be really cool in the
More
summer.
across the border stuff.
Well, very cool. Where can folks find out more information and connect up with you?
Sure. On the website, euphoriabrassband.com, Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. But the bulk of it you'll find at euphoriabrassband.com.
Well, JP and Drew, great to have you guys.
Thank you.
Looking forward
Thank you
to
very
the future of Euphoria Brass Band. Thanks for coming here to Jazz Live San Diego.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Vince.
Vince.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Oh,
Stop.